Hi, this is Doctoreiy Piano. I'm here in this video talking about scale pattern. To I hope you've watched my video on scales 1. If not, I advise you do that so that you can have a an insight. An insight to what we are talking about here, which is scale pattern. So, how do you identify scale patterns? Because musics are composed from scales, and when you know scales you are able to play or accompany the music, the melody. Now there are ways you can identify the scale patterns. The first one I want to talk about is using your ear. What I mean by using your ear is you know in your mind that there is tuning so far which runs, for example, this way. Again, I'm sorry. So the tuning software runs that way. You know that in your mind. That is how the tuning software runs. So what you want to do is use your brain, your ear, to identify the sound by trial and error. For example, you want to run a scale on this C major. We call this C major because the root do is starting from this very key C. So that is why we say it is C, the one I just run. This very key this very scale is C major scale because the root do, which is this do, is starting from this, is on the C key C. So that is why we call this C major scale. The root is starting on the C. So when we are talking about scales, the scale pattern you have in your brain, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, how it sounds, when it agrees with it, then you are in order. It's a matter of try and error. For example, when you press, you know that is wrong, so you try again. That is right. You continue. This is wrong. So it's a matter of try and error method with your ear as a judge. So you think, you use your ear to make a judgment, how it sounds. That's the first pattern of identifying scales. So you can try from different keys, making your root from any of the keys. For example, if your root is here, which is do, that is your root. You listen very well. You know it's in order. That's not in order. So it's a matter of trial and error. So that is the pattern for the scale. You try from each of these keys you are seeing can form a root of a scale. Once it forms the root, that's the name the scale is given. For example, if this one forms the root of the scale, this is D major, so the scale is D major scale. As I can run it this way. So that is how we have it. Something like that. You understand? It's a try and error method. You just run those keys. That is the first way of identifying. You can do others as an assignment for you. You run, you listen how it sounds. So you're here being the judge. The second way of identifying the scale patterns is using your brain. That's what I call using your brain. In this case, what will be in your mind is we have do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. After, when you are going on, you skip keys when you are pressing. I'll give an example to teach you better. For example, if you start your key here, you skip a key, you don't see any of these keys as different. White and black keys, they are all keys. You see them as keys, irrespective of the color, white or black. They are all keys. So what you do in this case, you skip a key when you are pressing any one. So let's assume your root, you are starting your root here. Using your brain, you have it in your mind that you are skipping a key every time you are pressing. So I'm pressing my root here now. I will skip a key. That is re, skip a key, mi. But when you get to mi, to fa, you don't skip a key. That is one exception. Then you continue to skip a key again. Skip this key, skip the key, skip the key. Between T and Do, you don't skip a key. So the second method is using your brain. What you have in your brain is you know that you don't skip a key at mi fa, and you don't skip a key at ti do. At mi fa, you don't skip a key. At ti do, you don't skip a key. Others, you skip a key to form your major scales. You can now start your root from anywhere on the piano keys, anywhere, using that principle. For example, if you start from C sharp, this is C sharp, you press this, you always skip a key, skip this key, skip this key. You know, this is third one now, which is mi. Do, re, mi. When you are in mi, which is the third to the fourth, you don't skip any key. You continue to skip a key again. Skip a key, skip a key. You don't skip between T and Do. So you have that concept in your mind. Mi, fa, you don't skip. Ti, Do, you don't skip. Others, you skip. Then you can form your major scale anywhere on the keyboard. For example, here, mi, fa, you don't skip. Ti, Do, you don't skip. Mi, fa, you don't skip. Ti, Do, you don't skip at Ti, Do. Mi, fa, you don't skip. Mi, fa. Ti and Do, you don't skip. Mi, fa, you don't skip. I didn't do this. So that is the pattern. And so on. You do others, that's assignment for you. So that is the second way. Not skipping between mi, fa and ti, do, others you skip. That's another way of identifying your skip pattern. And the third one I want to talk about, which I consider very important, is the visual form. In this way, what you are after is thinking about a picture, visual form. That is, you have certain image in your mind how these keys are arranged. For white keys, for C major, you know they are all white keys, so there is no stress about that. Now let us talk about C sharp. When you are talking about C sharp, the root is starting here. So for C sharp, we have this arrangement. So this is the arrangement we have for C sharp. So this is T, Do. The root is what I have shaded here, as you can see here. The root has been shaded. So this is what we are seeing now is a pattern. You think of it as a pattern. Here, you imagine the pattern as mirror image, though the root is starting from here, but the pattern you want to form in your brain is something like this. Depends on you, however you think about it. This like mirror image of 7. So that's the pattern that continues. With this pattern, for example, if you can play very well on key C, if you now form this pattern in your brain, you'll discover that when you keep this pattern in your mind, the C sharp pattern, for example, you'll be able to play well on it, even though you have not been able to practice on this very key. So when you form a pattern of the scale you are not used to, the pattern will guide you to be able to play well on that scale. You can make a try on that. So you form the pattern in your brain, it will guide you, and in a kind of unconscious manner, you'll be able to play that key with the pattern in your brain. You find it easier to play the key. So that is one way. Now, let's consider other patterns. You can see this is for for D major. So for D major, there are two accidentals, this and this. D major we are talking about. What I mean by accidentals, they are the keys that they don't just go in the normal pattern of the key in the normal tuning software. There are other key other than the normal tuning software, the re mi fa sol la ti do that you know. They are in between them. So those are the accidentals. Now, what I'm talking about now is this is D major scale, which is the. So the pattern you want to form in your brain on D major will be something like this, like L. Like L shape, that's what you want to form in your brain. We can also have this. So this is what we have in this case. Here, you want to have something like this. The kind of pattern you want to have in your brain. The root is starting from here, but the pattern you're having is something like this. That's the pattern you have in your brain. With that pattern, you will find it easier to play on that key, even if you are not used to that key. I mean scale. What I mean by key here is scales. They are usually used interchangeably. So with that pattern, you'll be able to play on that scale. So this one is D sharp major scale, the one I just showed you. So this is E scale. The root of this one is starting here, which is this. This is the root. This is the root. If you look at this pattern, what has formed here is something that like this. which is like this, a kind of inverse mirror image of 7, a kind of pattern. Depends on you how you think about it. So this is for E major scale. The F scale, what we have here is this. For F, what you have for F is this. So what the pattern you want to form in your brain when you are talking about F, it will be something like this. So something like this going up, going up. Depends on how you imagine about it. You think about it. That's for that. For F sharp, the pattern we have for F sharp is this. Which is this. This is a pattern for F sharp. So what you think about in F sharp is a kind of N shape and pulse and N shape. That's what you think about in F sharp. This G, for G we have something like this. G has the root here. I'm sorry, I just made some mistake. This G, so this is G. The pattern you have in your brain for G is something that looks like this. It's something that looks like this. So the pattern for G is this. Is this. That's the pattern you form in your brain. You have to take your time to learn each of these patterns, visualize it. So this is for G. Now how am I saying? This is not G. This is for A. I meant A. This is for A major scale. This is G. This is A. So A sharp, for A sharp, what you have is this. For A sharp, so for A sharp, the pattern we have is this. If you look at it very well, something like this. So the pattern we have for A, though the root is starting here, you think of it as this. That is for A sharp major scale. This is A sharp major scale. Now, when you talk about B major, the root starting from here. So we have something like this. So this is what we're having for the for this scale. That's what we have. So the pattern you form in your brain is 7, kind of 7. Depends on you, on how you think about it. So those are the patterns for major scales. Those are the patterns when you are talking about major scales. There are, so that's the pictorial form, the third way of identifying scales. But you should have it in mind that there are also other scales. There are other scales like minor scales, which I didn't talk about. This is a minor scale. There are different other scales which I have not talked about. So I will also talk about those scales. This is also minor scale. A chord on the minor scale. C, this is C minor. That's C minor scale. I will talk about those later. Now, you can also have songs. As you have song in major scale, you can have song in minor scale. When you have a minor song, minor scale has to go with it. That will be treated later. For example, let me give an example of a minor song. I will praise you, O Jehovah. You are my Lord. Something like that. That's a minor song. So it goes with minor scale. And what we are concentrating more in this is major scale. And I would like us to start with C major scale as a beginner. When you have learnt it very well, it will be better for you. I mean, the other keys will be easier for you. When you learn one key very well, the other keys become easier for you to learn. So the best way, I think, we should start with a C major scale, which is this. So in the next video, I will concentrate on C major, and you'll be able to play very well on C major following the exercise I'll be giving you. And if you follow those principles I'll tell you, I am sure in no time, in a very short while, you'll be playing the piano very well. Thank you very much for watching. This is Doctoreiy Piano. Kindly subscribe.